Good afternoon guys, and welcome back out here to Gran Canaria. So we're out here, it is very windy, so today we're going to be talking about how to play in the wind. So it's something that we struggle a lot with in the UK if you're playing links golf, even parkland golf. As soon as it gets windy, we start to see people struggle with where to start the golf ball. So here I've got downwind and off the left. So a lot of people here instantly have been told, well, if it's downwind, I've got to tee it nice and high and let it get up into the air and ride that. Not always the case. So obviously if we tee it up and you have a downward angle of attack, we're going to sky the driver, we're not going to hit it very far, and we're going to waste obviously what's happening. Here we don't really want to change, we want to still play at the same tee height as normal, and it's a strong wind off the left. What I don't want to see is, right, I normally play a bit of a slice and the wind's there, so I'm really going to exaggerate pointing left into the trees. How many times have you done that? Pulled it straight left, you're in the trees or you're out of bounds. So if we're here, I'm going to favour the left half of the fairway because I do hit a little bit of a fade, but I'm just going to commit to that shot, swing within myself and start to just be in balance, hitting the centre of the club face and playing with that. So if I do that now, normal setup, aiming down the left side of the fairway and hit that shot, you'll see that's faded towards the right hand side of the fairway, so exactly the shot I would want to play. The wind has affected it ever so slightly, but if we get the ball coming out of the centre of the face, it's still going to stay and hold its line a little bit better and get you down in play. In the fairway down the right hand side, and you'll see that luckily we're blocked out by this tree for the left hand side of the green, but we've got to think here, it's downwind still, it's off the right, but there's a bunker left, so a lot of people here try and play for the wind. If this tree wasn't here, people would be aiming left, aiming straight towards the trouble, straight towards that bunker. If you then pull that shot, we're straight in the bunker, and where would you want to be? That's short-sided, it's possibly the hardest shot around the green, so we wouldn't want to be in that kind of position. So even though the wind is off the right, we still want to be playing straight at the flag. If we hit this nice and out of the centre of the golf club, it's going to hold its line, it might move ever so slightly right of the flag. If we catch it with an open face and the wind does hit a bit more, we're going to miss to the right hand side of the green, but you've got to think, where is the easiest chip shot? We're potentially going to miss the green from here, we're 130 yards out, and if we do miss that, we want the easiest shot to get up and down. The worst place we want to be is potentially the bunker, because that's the hardest shot around the green for the majority of amateurs. So I'm going to go straight at the flag here, hopefully I'm going to miss the tree, straight at the flag, play this again normal, I'm in balance, I'm going to hold my finish, and you'll see it just missed the tree. The wind's bringing that back nicely, and that is on the green and around about pin high. So I've flirted with the tree, I didn't actually want to hit it there, but the wind's brought it back and now it's probably just a yard left of there, so it maybe started 2 yards left. We might pull a shot every now and then, but because I've aimed at the flag, that's allowed me to miss that tree even with a pull shot. You see that if I'd have aimed left of the flag and hit that pull shot, I think that ball would have come back to us. So let's get up there now. Let's talk about what you do when you're putting on the putting green to be able to be a little bit more stable, because we see a lot of people struggle and miss shots. We finished just past the flag, probably 3 yards past and a yard to the left, so pulled a little bit, but the wind has affected it. That's moved it 2 yards back. But even though this wind is probably 15-20 miles an hour, it's not moved it as much as people think. So a lot of people start to over-borrow, start to aim further left or further right, depending where the wind is, and then we're starting to leave yourself in trouble or hoping for more curvature. What happens then is that, as we all know, we all start to lean on the ball a little bit, we're all trying to squeeze it, we open the face a little bit more, and your slice or your hook becomes more exaggerated. On the putting green, this is where a lot of people start to see that they might get a figure of 8 stroke, they feel like the wind's blowing them all over, and then I see a lot of people go really wide with the stance. But once we go really wide, you'll see we've got a lot of movement off the golf ball. So we're going to move off the golf ball from here. I'm more than likely going to lean back and maybe top the putt, not get it rolling, not get the strike. So all we want to do it set up is, once we're into this position with your normal stance width, is feel like your legs are pushing out. So once they push out, it activates your glutes a little bit more, and you'll see there I'm a lot more stable in that lower body. Once the lower body is stable, it's much easier then to get over the putt, feel comfortable. Once you've done your routine, you could do 3 practice strokes, step in. Once you're set, feel like the legs are pushed out, and then that's your last trigger. and give it a go. A little bit short, that's into the wind, that's held it up a little bit, but I've got out of there with a nice and easy par from playing into the wind and off the left. The next hole is a par 3 straight into the wind, so let's show you how we adjust for that. Straight into the wind here on the par 3, it's playing at least 20 miles an hour straight in, and we've got 135. So 135 yards in there. Normally that would be a 9-iron for me, so instantly people would go, okay, I'm going to go up to my 8-iron, I'm going to go one more, and I'm going to be able to hit this a little bit harder, get it back in the stands, keep it low. When we get the ball back in the stands, that's going to encourage us to hit a little bit further down on the ball, maybe potentially spin that up, and if I don't catch that perfect, it's still going to come up short, especially 20 miles an hour into the wind. So then we'd go, okay, right, well, I'll go up to my 7-iron, I'm going to get it back in the stance again, I'm going to try and give this a little bit more, and we see the same thing happen. We put more speed into it, we're trying to hit at the golf ball, we hit more down, we add more spin, and all that does is stall the golf ball in the air. So I've gone all the way down from here, from a 9-iron to a 6-iron, which hopefully you can see on screen, and I'm just going to swing normal here. So my normal 6-iron is around about a 180 club. I'm going to swing this as a 3/4 shot, so I'm not going to go a full swing. A 3/4 shot will be around about 160, which is what I'm looking to play. 160, 165, this pin is at the back, and even if it's a little bit short of that, that's still going to give me a good chance at a putt. So I'm not going to have it back in the stands because I know that's going to affect my angle of attack, and I see too many amateurs think, right, back in the stands, the club face is then out to the right, the club path is still out to the right, we hit big blocks, and we don't know exactly why, and then we're always trying to figure out the next shot into the wind, we start to release the club head, and we hit a quick left shot. So normal setup here, legs just like with putting, feeling like they are a little bit out to get you a little bit more stable, but then I'm just going to hit a normal golf shot here. In balance, the wind takes it a little bit higher, that's just left of the flag, and we'll see that's pitched right at the back of the green and just gone onto the fringe. So that's a great example of there. I've gone from a 9-iron to a 6-iron. I've got that just to the back of the green. I know the pin's at the back, but that's a big change in the club I've selected. But now we're going to talk some chipping. Two options for this shot. So we've got a 56 and a pitching wedge. A little bit long, but this is the place to miss again. So when we're thinking about the wind, and we're thinking about where to miss, this has left us quite a bit of green to work with. We're not in a bunker, we're not short, and we're not leaving ourselves the most high tariff shot possible. As soon as we get into the wind, we need to think about what kind of trajectory we are playing. Are we going to be sending this high and trying to get it into those elements? Probably not. On rare occasions, you might have to use that shot, you might be going over a bunker, but think again about, right, what shot is going to be most affected by this wind, and how can we avoid that? So we can avoid that by going low. So a 56 would be an option here potentially. If there was no wind and the greens had not just been holotined, I'd be looking to land that probably within 2 meters, 3 meters just on the green, because we always want to try potentially in the summer when the greens are good, land it on the green, we know how it's going to react, and we can get that ball then just to release. But on this occasion here, I'm looking to land it into the fringe with an extended putting motion, as then I can control how this is going to run out. It's staying out of the elements, it's not going to be knocked down, it's not going to be knocked to the right because this wind is obviously straight down this hole. So I'm just going to treat this like an extended putt. And that actually carried a little bit far, but has done well. Nice and easy, minimal motion. That's landed probably around about half a yard further than I wanted. With the sand on there, that has worked perfectly. If it was again on a normal conditions, that might have ran on to 6 or 7 feet, and that's why we would have been using the 56. So you can see, playing in the wind as the season comes, you need to be prepared for what you are going to do. Don't overdo it, so if the wind is off the left or the right, don't start aiming 40, 50 yards. Let's start to aim just down the right side or the left side of the fairway and be a lot more committed to our shot and hitting it centered. Once on the putting green, let's start to get our legs pushed out to feel a little bit more stable, and then make sure off par 3s and into the green, you're looking at where the best place to miss is and don't be afraid to change your club by 3 or 4 if it's 20-30 mile an hour wind. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that. Look out later in the week or early next week with another golf course out here, and we're going to be talking about how to adjust for different slopes. It's a very mountainous course, we've got a lot of drops, we're going to need a lot of slope, and how we adjust for that, especially if it's windy again. We'll see you then.